I got two other big repairs that I want to do while I have it in here that I haven't planned on. And that's this main boom cylinder and my thumb cylinder. Both of them bleed off pretty bad. And when I get working hard and the oil gets warm and it's the middle of the summer, then I start to lose a little bit of power in the main boom and a little bit of power in the thumb. We're going to tear that down. I've got a new seal kit for that. We'll tear that all down and repack it and rebuild it with all new seals and everything. And then we've got to also run a case drain return line for the auxiliary hydraulics. Things that have a one-way motor, things like a breaker hammer, or in my case, I've got a flail mower that's going to go on the front of this. There's a return line that goes back to the tank for any overpressure on the motor head. So I need to route that up and get a spot routed back into the tank. I'll probably do all that while I have the fuel tank out of the way, because it gives me lots of easy access for the hydraulic lines to get everything routed. I had to make a quick run into town to pick up a couple of hydraulic hoses to do this return line. Now that I've made it back, I got to clean up this truck a little bit so that it doesn't refreeze encased in mud. That's much worse than just refreezing. I made the mistake, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago or something. I got home, didn't get around to washing it. Overnight, everything froze hard. And there was mud on the inside of my front wheels, kind of packed in there. And it all froze solid. My wheels were frozen solid, they wouldn't move because the mud was in around the brake caliper and packed in there. And we couldn't move the truck at all. Had to wait until that afternoon. The sun got on things a little bit, warmed it up enough that I could kind of break some of the mud out of the way and get it to break loose, and then I got it up here and washed the heck out of it. But since then, I'm trying to be a little bit better about get home, get the mud, at least get the mud out of the wheels, away from the doors, that kind of stuff, so that everything's, if it does freeze overnight, it's not gonna keep me out of my truck. Try to get a better picture of it, but right down in here, there's a whole bulkhead there that has, looks like 6 ports. 4 of them are used up right now. And that's for hydraulic to return back to the tank. And I've got one of the caps pulled out of there so that I could get the hose and the fitting sized appropriately. Went in today to get the hoses, and I'm gonna run this hose through. So I'm gonna try to get that connected in here, and I've done the hose in 2 parts so that I can deal with a shorter hose if I have a hose issue out where it's likely to get damaged. So the first part will run from the tank, route along with all the hydraulic lines out through the knuckle and up to the top backside of the main boom, where all of the other hoses go up. They all come up to here and split, so that everything from the tractor side comes up to here, and then from the work side comes from here up the arm and down. That gives me the ability that if I ever snag something or cause a damage to the hose, where it's out here on the stick, where it's in the debris and can get damaged easily, I don't have to replace the whole line all the way back or pull the whole line just to get it repaired. I can take it out here where it's exposed and just replace that half. So I'm doing it that way, hopefully save myself some hassle in the future. It's super warm today. The first day of the next like 6 that are supposed to be really warm. It's like right about 40 degrees right now, and it's supposed to hit mid 50s over the next 4 or 5 days. Mid to high 50s for the next 4 or 5 days. Or I'm gonna go take a few minutes with my gloves, shovel, bucket, blade. We're gonna go down and see if we can manage some of this runoff flow. All along the roads, what's happening is the water's just kind of spreading across the road, and it's hitting every single rut and running down those ruts and fanning out, so everything's staying wet. I'm gonna see if I can get at least combine some ruts and get things combined so that it stays in it. Hopefully we can get the water to stay into one rut so the others can dry up over the next day or two, and then we can come back in and knock those in as they get drying up. We can knock those ruts down and get them filled back in and keep the one rut open to keep the water channeled. We'll see if we do any good. Well, I spent an hour or two that afternoon just dealing with the slop and the muck. It was so muddy and messy that even the tractor was just sliding in and out of the ruts, having a hard time staying on track, especially with the blade loaded full of mud. But my plan was to try to use the soupy surface and move it to the left-hand side, the uphill side, to form kind of a ditch bank to keep all of that runoff snow that was waiting to melt on the uphill side into a single channel and keep it running down the left side of the road. At this initial point, I didn't really care that much even if I filled in the existing ruts. I just needed to get something established over there to make sure that the water did not cross the main space of the road and keep fanning out into every single tire track. Once I got that ditch bank kind of moved across to that side, all the way down in the worst spots of the road, it really started to dry up over the next few days. And then I just spent an hour or two every other day or every third day, depending on when the conditions were just right, and I'd come back down and start filling in the ruts in between. As you can see here, it's really started to dry up a lot on the right-hand side, and I'm able to fill in those ruts and pack them with the roller on the front of the tractor. It's been a little bit of a challenge because you can't do too much with it when it's wet. It just wants to churn into this mucky, soupy mess the more you mess with it. So I had to be cautious and try not to do too much, and every time I did anything, I felt like, oh man, I probably just messed everything up. But ultimately, it worked out. So now we got finished cleaning the cab and do the cylinders, right?
Yeah, I'll help you with the cylinders tomorrow.
That's it. Okay. That. Let that down slowly to the ladder. Okay.
Do I need to be there?
Well, yeah, we're gonna need to take this nut out, and then we're gonna take it apart.
Okay.
So,
You're just getting the old-fashioned soap and water.
that's fine. Thank you.
No, I'm not doing anything fancy.
No?
No, no fancy tricks. Soap and water, that's it.
Soap and water. I'll take it.
Do you have a step stool in here?
No.
Well,
Don't normally have short.
then I'm only gonna be able to wash what I can reach.
I don't normally have short people working in here very much. So. That's not good enough. Now that's moved. I don't think so. Well, we're gonna have to get creative because I don't want to damage that. Trying to pound it apart, so might have to make it. Let's see what we can come up with. So my little spanner, hook spanner wrench for this is too small. It does fit up on there and hook, but it's such a short distance from the hook to the pivot that it doesn't come far enough around to bite and make contact. What ends up happening is as I pull, it wants to just hinge and slide together, which is just going to make it skip out. So, and I tried hitting it with a hammer and chisel, and sometimes you can get that to move, and it didn't seem to move. And I don't want to beat the heck out of it trying to get it to go that way. Instead, I've got some, I don't know what that is, 3/8 thick by 2.5 plate. And I think I'm going to cut out a hook wrench that I can put a pipe on and see if we can get it to come loose that way. Five. That's going to be close enough. That's convenient. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Okay, that's a pretty close rough cut. We can find that. You want to see this tool?
Oh, that's cool. You got the little notch there.
Yeah, So it'll set right into those two notches. Give us some room.
Well, let's see if it works. Is this a good old fashioned like the Egyptian days?
The what? Good old fashioned Egyptian days.
Well, like, you know, when all they did was work with levers. Oh, there we go.
This is a good old fashioned, I'm sure they make an expensive tool for this. And we just made a cheap version to get the job done.
There you go.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It took you like 20 minutes, which is the same amount of time that it would have taken you to go to town.
But even if I went to town, it wouldn't have done me any good. There's no way to go get a tool like this.
Yeah, you'd have to go into the bigger town.
I'd have to order this tool probably from Caterpillar.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. And they'd probably want me to pay like
$200.
200 and something probably.
Yeah.
But it's probably not the first time I've had to build a tool like this.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen you build some stuff before.
Not my first time building this exact type of tool for this exact type of thing. Okay, that's gonna work. I'm gonna cycle that thing back up and down before I get it all the way out to get oil out of the tube,
Okay.
because that will suck.
How much oil is in there?
I don't know how much. How big is the cylinder? Yeah, I need access to this one.
Oh, okay. I was like, ew.
See that move out?
Oh, that's crazy. Maybe give me your safety glasses. I don't want that in my eyeballs.
Okay. Okay,
Am I finished here?
for a second probably. I need to take that nut off and then we'll need to put a little air in this top one to help push it all out the top. So, okay, and then you're gonna pull it that way. And you can kind of twist it down if you need to. So just pull, like you're gonna slide it out, okay? And give it a little twist, like rotate it. There you go.
I'm not doing anything. Is it gonna come out all the way?
That should be pretty close. Maybe another little ways.
You don't want it to fall, right?
Right.
So what, do you want me to stand under it or something?
No, you're okay, just like it's.
Huh? Scary. How much does this thing weigh?
I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean you don't know? How much?
Well, I've never weighed it, so I don't know. Let me grab one more to tie over here, so we can cradle it. Something like that, maybe.
Oh,
Okay. Now,
yeah, you need a haircut. Where are you gonna put that thing, like somewhere?
I think
Then when you get it out.
once we get it out, we're gonna get it down. the ground.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, you got it. I didn't need to air it.
That's okay, that's good.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Is this super heavy? What can I do for you? I'm gonna hold
Let's
that.
crate it. So let's let this loosen, and then I'll have you pull this. So come around over there. I'll bring this one down nice and slow to here, and this will maybe slide, but it'll be hooked here, okay?
Okay.
So just let it. Don't worry. You hold on to this and step back. It will just come down.
Oh,
It's okay. That's what I said. It will probably slide over there. Okay. Now, go ahead and pull that. Pull it. Just pull.
oh. Oh, it's one of those knots.
Yeah.
How heavy is that, you think? Whoa. You got it?
It's probably
100 pounds?
maybe.
Put that on my back. Let me do some
Okay, come
lifting.
lift it.
No.
Here.
No, look. Okay,
Okay, got it.
let me see if I can.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's heavy. You got it.
Yep. Okay. Thanks for your help.
Yeah.
Okay. The first hard bit's done. Okay. Here's the whole kit. Now we get to take that one apart. Okay. This piston end is going to thread off of the rod, but it's got two little dimples where the set screw goes in. The set screw is threaded down tight to lock that head in place, and then they use a center punch and deform the metal on the sides of the set screw to kind of pinch it in and make sure that it can't come loose. So we're going to have to take a die grinder to that and kind of open that up just a little bit so that set screw can come out easily and loosen, and then we will spin that out. We can tear everything down and just wash it all up, repack it with all the new seal pieces, put it back together, put it back in. Is that little ball? That one's too big. That one's too short. Little trick. That steel ball is just a pressure point to kind of dig into that cylinder head or cylinder rod to keep it in place. Okay. Guess. Let's take all this to the parts washer.
You have never, I mean, not reversing stuff so late. I thought it based on slaughtering the next few days anyway. I got all the work with that part. Okay. I think you're going to be getting worse. I think you see what you're saying. Colorado as mine. So it's still be perpetrated on things that see, you look also available indigenous, incidentally, what would you have done if I said I could flip your rates and torn out sightings or closed some branch line, any branch line? These should not be on the cheese and adversary workmanship.
So that ring there, there's no split in it, and it's a pretty firm ring. Doesn't want to come off. I'm sure I'll completely disfigure it and get it all kinds of messed up trying to get it off of there. The new one is ready to go on, but There's no break in that ring. There's no nothing like that. And it's a pretty firm ring. I've had seals like this before in other applications that have a hard seal. It's a very firm seal and it's a full circle. There's no break in it to separate it and get it off of there. And you basically stretch it over and then you use a kind of a reforming tool to recompress that and kind of compress it back down so it fits down in there good again. I'm going to think on that one for a minute. I do have a cylinder compression tool, kind of help shrink that back up. But I'm going to think about it for a minute before I do that. So put the other seals in. Let that one wait for a minute.
This was the way she had expected to live. She had wanted to spend no hour and take no action any less than this. No great deposit of metal existed or could be expected to exist there, and there were no indications that could have permitted anyone to be permitted. The government of the state of Mexico was holding emergency sessions on their ceremony. That's the way she always ran. These were Sir Danconia, and they both flew down the hill with the car approaching on the road and suggested that Corpento little chink. Sebastian Danconia threw the convict and finalized the face of the escaped convict. 1 month she could live in. She raced down the hill to meet Francisco Danconia. He was released. She asked him angrily, "You thinking, Richard?" The gentleman followed her. She's on the life. It had started in the days of their second. I don't think either. That's just another.
So I've decided I'm going to go ahead and pull that ring off. I've got my cylinder compressor that we're going to use to tighten that back down with the new one. I'll probably warm the new one a little bit just to help make it a little bit more pliable. And we're just going to go for it.
But they had a member of anxious caution that kept their voices one tone lower than normal. One of them asked, "Why should we try?" "I don't know," said Spacer. "They're not afraid of crowds or loud." Did they catch him? No. Nobody can catch him, said one of them. People's state of Norway has offered $1 million reward for his head. Rolled the pirate man loose all over the 7 seas. Do you know what it was that he seen this last night? Some night on the old ship one night off the coast of Scotland. People really couldn't believe that. That ship named in the Navy people state of England. Hey, I don't know the Norwegian fjords when they were gone more and more. Not really. Oh yes, he forgot. But not these. No, I don't like it. I don't like it that he's now appearing right here in our own waters. I thought that had only known these things. Only Europe.
Okay, that worked.
And see on and they don't want people to know that the Navy can't cope with it. I don't like it. It's funny. John got the impression. This man is an old friend. He was there and he saw him. Atlantis. What? Wait. And then he without judging. She was carried the secret of life from him. Atlantis was lost. They did not believe it, but they never stopped looking for it because they knew that that's what they had. He did it, finding the worst, where he sought to escape the reach of him. He saw the towers of Atlantis shining on the bottom of the ocean. It was a sight of such a kind that when one had seen it, one would never wish to look for this here. John got sunk to his ship and went down with his entire crew. Got every hero to a Gulf portion. It went down with him. He added belligerently, but then he stood looking at him with the insolence of exaggerated reticence. Have you ever had faith in anything, Senator Hancock? You're the only woman worth watching here. She stood defiant, because the lady looked at her demand. The challenge was someone else's superiors, right? And the fragility of her mind that the challenge could be broken. She was not constant. And looking down at her body, it rose in tortured triumph. It was as if a handful of mud and pebbles had been flung with music, and what followed was the sound of rolling and breaking. Of course, I assumed it were a common diamond break, but somehow nobody offered me one for it. It was so very diamond breaks. John Bagg his palm and took the diamond bag. He did not look at Dagny. Mrs. Weston says that our best achievement is our cook. She loved the cinders. Walked to the window and stood. Why had she carried, he thought? No answer. It was not a position, he thought. From money. She came from a noble family that had both. Her family's name was not among the most distinguished, and their fortune was modest. 9 years ago, he appeared in New York on explosion. Later, his success with his machine who planned the nation, then faced him coldly, as he not caring the heat. He would spend his life in mountains and hills, shaping matter to his wishes by the power of his brain. I do believe these, he said. She won't have car. He said, no planes till day after tomorrow. There's only one transcontinental line every 2 days, you know. Dagny Lansing had passed the back of the chauffeur. Far ahead, the smear of the red line flow on the ground marked the street destination. Very important that he presented with peace. So controversy about the men were moving ahead with great. I don't know what you're doing. He remained silent for a moment. Working stopped the car. She did not hear what Tiger said. She noticed the dim way that his voice rose to screams. She pushed her hair back on her head. Felt not on her palm. She stopped. He held up two lights in the window and stood behind it. The slave was in a white shirt rolled with yellows. They did not seem astonished to see a woman in evening clothes enter a slum diner. Man was just a low gray man, without element, without soul. They shouldn't be obscure museums. She wondered what kind of destructive, what error on the way to bring them this. She goes in. Built by government, means the interests and the moral sense of politics. Mr. Beard, you said so before. What did you wish to see me about? Good job. You must give him the job. I certainly am. I happen to know that's what he wants, only he's too proud to ask you for it. She's her voice like a phone around her, repeating the magic formula she could not bring herself to doubt. I don't know what it is that you choose to call them out.
For some reason I've got this seal in that kit, which is small. Doesn't fit in there. It's almost the size that would make sense to be on there, but this would need a shoulder for it to go on, so it doesn't go there. But I am missing the main cup seal for the cylinder head, the cap. So I don't know if I got this one in the kit in place of that one that's wrong size. Everything else looks like it's probably here. I don't know. Guess we'll just start changing the seals we got and go from there. So everything looks good in this kit, except for some reason I have that seal when it should be a lot bigger. I'm gonna have to go do some parts looking up and figure out why we don't have that part. That sucks because I have to wait for it then to get here. But that's the seal that I need, which is essentially this same thing. It's just the wrong size. The parts that I was concerned about it leaking was on this seal, because this is the one that moves in and out of the cylinder and allows it to bleed off if it bypasses here. Now, I don't think I was getting it to bypass here. I think it was actually bleeding through the threads because this had backed off and was loose, and it has no way of sealing the threads, especially once it's loosened. So it was allowing oil to pass through here, I'm sure. I've got two different divot marks here, which tells me it was probably taken off one other time and repacked. They obviously didn't get this tightened down before they set the set screw. So there's that. So I need to see what I can do about finding this seal before I can put it back together, unfortunately. Dang it. Okay. Let's see what we can come up with. Another day.